This is part two of my list of the best movies of 2011. Picking up from where I left off, the next movie on the list is Soul Surfer. I really do believe that this was an accurate portrayal of the surfer's life who lost her limb while swimming, and I think that they did such a great job. And it's very rare that you see an uplifting film like that with good Christian values placed in it without being too preachy. Rio is my next one, and it is a absolutely stunning film. Colors and textures that were portrayed in the movie were just absolutely glorious, and it's also a good story, and I loved it. Next movie is Tyler Perry's Medea's Big Happy Family. Now, I am a big Madea fan, and I just absolutely loved it, and I feel that this one is his best film yet. Um, Water for Elephants is a period piece. It is a romantic comedy taking place during the Depression, and I absolutely adored it. And Robert Patterson, who plays Edward, the sullen one in Twilight, I actually love him in this because he plays a Polish man, and it just makes me proud to have that Polish ancestry. Um, the next movie kind of surprised me a bit because I wasn't sure I was going to like it, but Bridesmaids, even though it's raunchy, it's very funny, and I really, really liked it. And I like the main characters that were involved, and the side characters, and I think everybody had sparkling chemistry with each other. And next movie is going to surprise a lot of you because I know it got mixed reviews, but Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides. Now I know it didn't do so well as the others, and it was probably done on a lower budget, but I loved it. I thought it was well done, and plus it gives you something to look forward to and makes you wonder what Penelope Cruz's character has in store for Jack. Plus, I like the mermaids in this particular um, pirates. I thought that they were very interesting, and Blackbeard was awesome. I loved Blackbeard and the legends of Blackbeard, and being a big fan of Blackbeard, I was extremely pleased with this installation. As bad as the ratings were, doesn't matter. I loved it. Plus, Judi Dench makes a cameo, and she was funny. Uh, the the next one on my list is one I just reviewed, The Hangover Part 2. Now, I must say, I love this one even more than the first one, and I just thought it was just funnier and shocking, more shocking than the first. And I laughed so hard that my sides were hurting. And of course, Leslie Chow, I just love him. He is just hysterical. And he really makes the movie for me, other than the Capuchin Monkey, of course. And I can't wait till part three because I'm really looking forward to it. I'll probably be the only female in the audience. I'm gonna feel really awkward, but I don't care. Um, Kung Fu Panda 2. Now, this is an example of how sequels can be better than their predecessors. This one had a better plot, better storyline. It was more interesting. Plus, you see a growth of character, and instead of having a underdog, you have a character who comes into his own. Plus, you see more about his past revealed, and it's very intriguing. And the writers, I think they did a splendid job. The next movie, although it got mixed reviews, is X-Men First Class. Now, being an X-Men fan, I must say that this is probably my favorite X-Men movie of all time, next to Wolverine Origins, which is really dark. But I love this movie, and it gives you a really good look at where the origins of all of our characters are before they recruit all the other X-Men. The next movie had mixed reviews, but also it was one I really enjoyed because it brought everything to a culmination, and that's Transformers Dark of the Moon. And plus, it mixed in some history with it. I like that alternate history sort of storytelling. Next movie on my list is Happy Feet 2. Again, this was another one that didn't do so well in the box offices because Twilight came out that weekend and no one else cared. But I thought that, again, this was another example of how a sequel can do better than its original idea. And this I consider to be new age philosophy for the young. Plus, it has a good environmental message, and I don't think it was being too terribly preachy, but it's got a great message involved with it. The next movie on the list is J. Edgar. Um, Leonardo DiCaprio. He deserves an Oscar for this movie. I don't care who you are. I just think that he did a stupendous job in this movie. Next movie is an action adventure slash comedy, Tower Heist, and I think that this movie, next to Just Go With It, was probably one of the best comedies of the whole year. Next one would have to be Sherlock Holmes, of course, because I just absolutely love it. But Sherlock Holmes is a little bit of everything. It's not just action. It's not just adventure. It's not just romance and intrigue, but it's a little piece of everything that moviegoer would enjoy, including a fantastic plot that just keeps you guessing into the very end. The next movie is a nature film. It's also a comedy. It's kind of a biopic. It's called The Big Year. And of course, a lot of people probably haven't heard of it because it got mixed reviews as well. But it was pretty solid comedy. Maybe not the best of the year. I still think that is delegated to Tower Heist, but The Big Year was a great film. Jim Parsons was in it. He was actually in two films this year. He was in this one, and he was in The Muppets. So Jim Parsons gets around, and I love him. The next movie on the list is a strange mixture that I didn't think was going to work. Before going into this film, I was really scared that I wouldn't enjoy it, even though I love Steven Spielberg and I'm a huge fan of his. This movie far exceeded everything that I expected it to, and it was the best movie of the summer. It was even better than Transformers. It was Cowboys and Aliens, and I really enjoyed it. The next movie is Harry Potter and Deathly Hallows Part 2. First, the first Deathly Hallows I thought was solid throughout and well done and well portrayed, and the second one was kind of choppy, but still, as a Harry Potter fan, I gotta say that they stuck to their guns and they portrayed it the way that it should be portrayed, and they made it dark and gritty and ominous as it should be. Um, Plus, the ending was extremely accurate, and I think that everybody did a outstanding job. And I'm just glad to see that everybody handled everything professionally, and it was stellar, truly stellar. The next movie on the list is The Debt. Now, this is a darker film. This is a biopic, and it's about the butcher of Birkenau and how these three Mossad agents they go and they it's actually based on a book, but I can't think of the name of it because it's in Hebrew. But it's really, really disturbing, and it stuck with me even long after seeing it. Sort of like the boy in the striped pajamas. Just the name of that movie alone, if you say that, the title of that film, I cannot watch that movie ever again. And this is one of those movies that I cannot watch ever again, just like Munich, because it's just the subject matter. I just can't. I just no. I don't want to even get involved with that because that is the worst example of humanity that you can express. But still, beyond that, it is a wonderful film. Next movie is another biopic. It's Moneyball, and I thought it was one of the best biopics I've seen all year. I think that Jonah Hill deserves an Oscar. I also think that Brad Pitt deserves an Oscar for their portrayal. And it was good to see Jonah in a more subdued role because I think he can do anything. I really think that Jonah has a lot of guts to be taking on a role like that. The next one got some mixed marks, but I think that Hugh Jackman deserves a thumbs up for taking on the role of a kid's film, and he did a really good job. And I just think he made a wonderful father figure in the film, and he redeems himself and he goes through a transformation, and it's really quite beautiful to watch. The next movie, I did enjoy it, but it's another one of those films that I just probably couldn't watch again because it was so disturbing and just revealed a lot of the bad side of politics and humanity together. The movie's the Ides of March, and I did enjoy George Clooney. Don't get me wrong, but I just didn't really care for it just because it was very unnerving, and I just thought this could be a prophetic film, and I really think that people should give it another look and pay attention to it. I spoke about Jack and Jill before earlier in my first part of this review. And I thought I was going to go ahead and do it again just because I think it's a very amusing film. And I know it got horrible, horrible marks, but I think that Adam Sandler's got chops. He really does. And he deserves a lot of kudos for portraying a female role. And I think that he did a good job. I sincerely do. And I absolutely loved it. It made me laugh. It was a good story. It was a good romantic comedy. And plus, it taught a lesson. Even those that are around us that may have some flaws, we should love them anyway because they're our family. And family sometimes is all a person ever has. The next movie is Arthur Christmas. Now, I do realize that this movie got mixed reviews, but most of them were good, and it was beautifully done, and it's just a lovely Christmas story, and it's very heartfelt, and it's really gorgeous in its animation. And Hugh Laurie, he plays Fred. Um, or is his name? His name's Fred, isn't it? Is Fred Claus? It's not Fred Claus. It's something. I'm sorry. Fred Claus is another movie that I don't like. But anyway, he plays a character that's kind of a Grinch in a way, a Scrooge type, and he comes to his own, and they all pull together, and they reveal to their father just how how important family is during Christmas, even though that it doesn't seem that Archibald has enough time for that. The next movie I'm going to talk about is Game of Shadows. It is a rollicking adventure, and it's got a little bit of everything in it, just like I mentioned before. It's got action, it's got adventure, it's got romance, it's intrigue, it has suspense. It's even got some forethought in it that you see through the eyes of the the cameraman, and I love the way they did that. I thought that the way that they did the camera angles and the slow mo uh, during certain sequences, I thought, huh. Well, I know they did that in the first film, but they even cranked it up a little bit more in this version, and it was better. Plus, to see Sherlock and Drag, that was a highlight for me. I don't know why. I just really enjoy seeing men in drag sometimes. It makes me laugh, but I guess it's a cheap laugh, the novelty for me. But it was it was cleverly done. It wasn't done for just to have it done. It was a very innovative way that they had him do that in order to get on that get into that room with Watson. But it was just super. Really, I thought it was capital. Um, the last film I'm going to talk about here is In Time. Now, this was sort of like Logan's Run, but much better and much more involved. And I love the idea of everybody living on borrowed time and buying and selling and exchanging everything for their however how much time they had left, and they were all stopped at a certain point in their development, and they couldn't go on beyond that. It was like having eternal youth, and especially with the Centurions, those who were wealthy had the most time, and it was just a good diorama of society and the poor and the rich, and it's very involved. And I thought, whoa, we're going into sociology, we're going into economics, we're going into politics, we're going into philosophy here, folks. And I absolutely loved it. And I haven't seen Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, but it'll go on here as well as the girl with the dragon tattoo, even though I haven't seen either one of them. I would have to see the first two films for the third to make any sense, but the trailer looked really intense and good, like something I would enjoy. Same thing with Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, and I'm going to be seeing that over the weekend, so I'll be doing a review of that too. But it's going to go on here as one of my best films of 2011, and I'm going to do my worst films and why in a bit here, so stay tuned.